Hello, America, and hello, world. Good morning, Filipinas. Welcome to the Teacher's Voice. This show aims to give teachers the opportunity to talk on air about their unforgettable journey and thrilling adventures, as well as share their splendid wisdom to inspire and to give hope to our listeners and our viewers. The show is aired by the Philippine Las Vegas radio station from the heart of Las Vegas every Saturday at 6 p.m. Pacific Time and 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And on Sunday in the Philippines at 9 o'clock in the morning. This is one of your co-hosts, Teacher Marvin, welcoming you from New York City. And my other co-host is Teacher Pacita, who is also from New York City. Hello. One of our co-hosts, Ma'am Judeline, is not with us tonight, but we are sure that her heart and her mind are with us all.
That's true.
To start, let us pray and we'll bring ourselves in the presence of the Almighty. Father in heaven, we acknowledge your sovereignty in our midst, and we ask that you allow us to see the beauty of your holiness and the exceedingly great reward of your worship and your service. Bless us tonight with your presence that go with your wisdom and inspiration as we celebrate the journey of our guests tonight into the path and into the calling of molding and leading the young and adults of the importance of education. You are the source of wisdom and knowledge, and we return in thanksgiving the gifts of wisdom and knowledge. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. That's very nice prayer. Thank you.
I think it's Teacher Pasit will greet our viewers first, and then I will do I will greet also, and then she will introduce our guest tonight.
Yes, thank you, Teacher Marvin. Okay, like I always say, I would like to greet our teachers wherever you are in this whole wide world. And again, I'd like to express my thanks and gratitude to all of you for all your dedication, hard work, and perseverance to educate our children to become good members of our society and the whole world. And teachers, please remember that we are very thankful to you. The whole nations of the world are thankful to you for all what you do.
Salamat, Teacher Pasit. Our warm greetings to all our beloved teachers whose dedication and passion and joy in the classroom are what we appreciate and what we celebrate every single week. This program is for you and for your hard work in molding the heart and the mind of the future. So mabuhay ang lahat ng mga teachers.
Mabuhay.
Well, I think Teacher Paset, we're ready to introduce our guest tonight.
Of course, yes, with very great pleasure. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, teachers, I'd like to introduce to you our very important guest tonight. This teacher graduated from the Philippine Normal College, now called the Philippine Normal University, with a Bachelor of Science in Elementary Education degree. She obtained her master's in TESOL, which means Teaching English for Speakers of Other Languages at Adelphi University in New York. She taught elementary school for 19 years in the Philippines and 31 years, my goodness, in middle school, junior high, and adult education in New York City. Her daily challenges as a teacher include motivating her students, developing their talents, and guiding them to achieve their potential. That is, besides having a class of students who speak many different languages. Teaching ESL, or English as a Second Language, requires a lot of hard work, but it is her pride to see her students assimilate and adjoin to the mainstream classes after 1 year. Now, our guest, whose ethics, dedication, and passion are so great, has been recognized with a few awards for what she does, what she's been doing. Like, for example, the Elizabeth Ann Seton Award for Teaching Excellence. She was one of the who's who among America's teachers awardee. She also was awarded the National Catholic Educational Association Distinguished Teacher Award for the state of New York.
Mhm.
She also received service awards, plural form, from AFTA. And I am very proud that she was, excuse me, one of the very first Ulirang Guru awardee from AFTA for the elementary level. And also, before she retired, she was awarded the best teacher in the New York City Adult Literacy Initiative ESL program. My goodness, what a resume. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow teachers and listeners, I'd like to introduce to you my beloved friend, Perla Bautista. Welcome, Pearl.
Welcome,
Thank
Teacher
you so
Pearl.
much. Thank you for inviting me here. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You can greet our viewers, Teacher Pearl.
Okay, I just want to greet my family and friends who are watching right now. And of course, the teachers in the Philippines and all over the world. Thank you.
You're
Salamat.
welcome.
Salamat. All right. So, Teacher Pearl, your life is as a teacher is very, very interesting because of the broad spectrum of students that you were teaching. You taught elementary, then junior high school, and then adults,
Yes.
right? So, and then you were basically while you were here in the United States, in New York, you taught English to speakers of other language. And we all know that it is a very challenging assignment.
It is.
So what are your major challenges and how did you manage to overcome these challenges in teaching TESOL?
Well, since teaching is my passion, I really love to teach since I graduated. Motivating students who speak different languages, coming from different countries, is really a tough job. But since I studied my master's in TESOL, like what Chick was saying, which is teaching English to speakers of other languages. In my classroom, I had students coming from Bangladesh, Russia, Ukraine, Ecuador, Guatemala, all kinds. Okay, so then you would just think that how in the world would she be able to?
Right.
And I'm not supposed to be speaking other languages. First of all, I speak Tagalog, and most of the students were in my class. I would have maybe like 75% who speak Spanish. Although we learned some Spanish in the Philippines when we were in college, but it is unfair for me. My Spanish is very little, but it's very unfair for me to speak even a little Spanish to those students who don't speak Spanish at all. So that I just focus on teaching English. So what did I do? I had to make sure that I had pictures, all kinds of visual aids, real objects, and body movements as I teach them, for example, a certain word, or commanding, I have to demonstrate to them. For example, my command is close the door. First of all, they might not even know what door is, so you have to unlock the word door to them. And then I would say, close the door. I would have to stand, show the door, close the door, the movement. So that's close the door. That's one lesson for them. And I would say, open the door. Then you have to demonstrate to them how to open the door. Every single thing has to be demonstrated. So it's really tiring. But since I love what I'm doing, no complaints. Close the windows, open the windows. You bend You skip all of those stuff. But usually they come to me at the beginning of the school year with zero English.
Oh.
Oh yeah, zero English. So they would look at you like, because I always had a beginner's class at that time when I was.
Oh wow.
I always had a beginner's class, and I had sixth grade, 6, 7, and 8, but they're all beginners. But they're not all together in one class. They are separated by grade level. Although their language proficiency may be beginners because they don't really speak the language, but they are divided in different grade levels because of their age, their chronological age. So then from zero English in September to some English towards the middle of the school year. And then you would see them at the lunchroom starting to talk to each other, although they may not be speaking correct English, but they would understand each other. Kids, they find ways and means to communicate. So at the end of the school year, I'm the very first person to be so happy and proud of them, especially after taking the state test.
Oh, okay.
I don't expect everybody to pass. I would have a couple of them to pass, and they would go to the mainstream classes. That is my joy when I see them going to the mainstream classes. But it really is a hard work. Just imagine teaching a class. When I started teaching, I only had 15 students, 15 to 18. But when I left, I had 35 in one class.
That's a lot.
It's New York City. What can you do? There's a lot of immigrants here. So yeah, that's the way it was.
Oh, okay. Now to follow through Teacher Marvin's question, yes, the many different ethnicities that you meet, and you get to experience their culture, I am sure. Are there any outstanding positive things that you, as somebody from a different culture, would think is really very nice, very positive, something that is very desirable among their attitudes and parts of their culture?
They're very courteous. They're very courteous. Probably because they're new in the country. But then, as a teacher, I have to be the role model. So then, aside from them, probably they really have that being polite and courteous as ingrained in them. Then you as a teacher, or I as a teacher, would show respect to them as well. So then, when they see that, then they would also show respect to each other. That's one. Okay, another way for me to make sure that their cultures are also recognized at somewhere at the third trimester, I would organize a culture day.
Oh,
a culture day, and that is a must for me. So that actually I started that in my school. So every student will have to contribute, whether it's a dance, whether it's the food of the country that they would like to share. In fact, there was a time when I asked them to recite their Pledge of Allegiance, their own pledge, because everybody can do that, their national anthem. But yes, I asked them to do that. And what they did was they grouped together. For example, those people from Bangladesh, they would sing their national anthem together. Because some of them are afraid to sing alone, so they would do it as a group. Or then the others would dance. There's like in Pakistan, they have the boys dance, and there's a girls dance. It's just, and I invite my principal and my vice principal, and they love it. The teachers just love the food that they bring to the table. Oh my goodness. And what I do with, let's say the food is there, so we have a long table.
Wow.
I really recognize whatever they bring. So I make this label, the name of the country and the name of the food. And then all their national costumes, I display them. I bring hangers.
Wow.
I put them on the chalkboard, but then, there's a little area where you can hang. It's a celebration of culture.
Very, very good.
Oh, very nice. Teacher Pearl, we can see that you have, if I'm not mistaken, and you can correct me with this, I did the math, you actually has 50 long years of teaching, if that is correct.
Yes.
Thank you. So far with these 50 years, can you share with us so far your most rewarding experience or rewarding experiences inside the classroom?
Okay. I love group work,
Mm-hmm.
and the kids love group work too. So what I do is after a certain lesson, then I make it a point to see how they apply the lesson. Sometimes it takes like 2 or 3 days, especially if it's a big activity. Like for example, teaching a poem. So then you teach them how to pronounce the words. You teach them how to, how the meaning of that particular stanza. And after that, I would ask them to, in your own way, in your own words or in your own group, I'd like you to think and be creative on how you can present this particular poem. So if I have 4 groups, all the 4 would present on their own different ways. And then I tell them, I'm going to choose the best group. So you got to make sure that you are doing the best. You're the best that you can for the presentation. They love that. They love it. And funny that I did that with OLPH when I was teaching at the Catholic school. Then I brought that to my ESL class. Oh, they loved it. Even though their English is very, very minimal, but that they can understand and they can emote, they can express, whatever the topic is being given to them. Even as simple as we give them situations. For example, you're going to the supermarket, you're buying this. How are you going to talk to the cashier? Mm-hmm. Or you and your parents would be going to a restaurant. How are you going to order? So from there, they will be able to create, sentences and be able to communicate. Mm-hmm. So that I miss. I miss it now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. Could be very, very rewarding though.
Oh, it is very rewarding. Yes.
Right? Yeah.
That's why I miss teaching. I retired in 2014 from the Department of Ed. But I thought with myself, I just can't sit down here. I want to do something. So
of course,
the ESL adults, they're exactly the same thing. Their language proficiencies are, they're still below level. So they're just like beginners. But some of them are very, let's say they're in their 80s or 90s, but they love to learn English. I was asking them, why are you just starting to learn English now? How long have you been here? 20 years? And I asked him why. Well, I wanted to teach my granddaughter, do her homework, or at least talk to her. It's different. It's the joy of teaching, especially if you love to teach.
Yeah. You know what? Listening to you, Teacher Pearl, makes me I just want to go back teaching, because even if I taught regular classes, there are, of course, different nationalities in a class. This is New York City,
Yeah.
And I do the same thing, a cultural day where they write and, read their essays and all that. It's really very interesting. Now, you taught these different groups of people English, and you are successful in that. Now, my question is, I'd like to flip it. Did you learn, or have you learned some of the languages of the students that you have had?
No.
Why not?
I was just focused on them learning to speak English. Maybe I should have tried, but I did not. Well, some Spanish I know,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But I didn't bother maybe I should have had. I should have
No,
done.
you know what? No, just plain expressions like their thank you, their good morning in their own languages. Did you not ask them about that?
I think I did, but it did not register completely.
It did not. Because you see, in my travels, when I try to say good morning or thank you, or those very common phrases, yes.
Phrases, yeah.
And a few times, people in those countries have expressed their admiration to me for learning their language. Samantalang, thank you lang yun, okay, good morning, please. They're very appreciative that I try to, learn their own
Remember
language.
those words? Do you still remember those words now that you're here in New York?
I'm sorry?
You used to remember those words that you learned, those little new words in another language when you came back?
Yeah,
Some
of them, yeah, some of them. So that when I meet people from that particular, group, yeah, and I say it, they're just very pleased that, Anyway, I have another question to you.
Okay.
Yeah, having students of different cultures and ethnicities. Yeah, we talked about the positive things that you noticed about them. Now, I am just curious, without identifying any particular group, have you encountered some attitudes, especially negative attitudes from your students, previous students, towards anything, education, other people, and I am just curious.
Okay, we have these parent-teacher conferences when they receive the report cards.
Yes.
So the first marking period, it's fine. It's just like the parent comes. Unfortunately, some parents don't speak the language as well. Well, I'm just lucky that my school has volunteer translators of different languages. So we ask them to come if we need them.
Right.
However, like on the second marking period, on the third marking period, you expect some of the students already know how to speak English. So they come along with their parents. But I don't trust them. So you tell the parents the problem with the kid. You start with a positive one. Oh, she's doing a good job. She does her homework. However, then the however comes, and then you're giving some of the, I don't want to say negative, but shortcomings of the kid. So then I would ask her to translate that to her mom or her dad. But I doubt if she's telling the truth to her mom or dad. That's a negative thing. Yeah.
That's possible.
It is, right? So then you would know. But most of the parents from different countries, they're very cooperative. They listen to the teachers. They would even ask, what can I do, in order for my son to improve? Is there an after-school program? So yeah, you try to encourage them so that they would continue and develop. And some students are teaching their parents to speak English.
Yeah, that's true.
Of course, different students, there are individual differences. Sometimes they don't. Oh, by the way, some students, as soon as they have assimilated to the culture and to the different languages, they become street smart. So they learn, they learn those words that are not supposed to be said. I think that's the first thing those are the first words they learn.
Yeah, so easy to learn that because it's in the streets.
Yeah,
you hear them. Yeah. Oh, really? That's quite interesting.
Really, every day is a different experience.
Yes, indeed. Right. Teacher Pearl, we mentioned earlier that you taught elementary, then you shifted to middle school, then junior high school, and then adults. And so through the years and through these different spectrum of learners, what are the teaching styles that you have developed through the years? And considering that you shifted from elementary to middle school to adults, can you share them with us?
Sure. I try to apply what I've learned in college, plus the strategies that I learned from workshops, seminars.
Yeah.
Because it's useless, it's pointless if you don't follow them and use them. So then I use them and I try to see which one would be very effective for a certain group of students. And aside from that, I also listen to some fellow teachers when we have our faculty meetings. So that's the way to learn. It doesn't mean that because you're a teacher and you know everything. No, you learn from the school, you learn from workshops, you learn from other teachers as well. But when I teach, I make sure that my students are well engaged. And I don't know if you see that I really move a lot. When I'm talking, I have all these movements. I make sure that I demonstrate to them. And one of my teaching styles is really it's just like a teacher is also an actor at the same time. So you show it to them. You present to them. It's not just like board and chalk. I'm not a board and chalk teacher.
Right.
And aside from visual aids, you have to, stand and move. It's just like moving is, I don't know if you mentioned earlier that TPR, that's total physical.
Okay, yeah.
It's a whole body actually moving. When I explained earlier about close the door, open the windows, you are really standing up and moving around and showing the kids what to do. So that's my style. I move around and I show to them aside from just, explaining. So you have to show it to them aside from the explanation. You demonstrate to them.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. TPR is not only for teaching ESL, even for the young kids, we really have to do that. Close the door, show it,
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Right. So the body, the physical body is involved besides the thinking and the other senses. Right. Now, oh, I'm sorry.
I was going to share something.
Oh, yes, please.
Okay. There was one of the last workshops I attended was just plain for ESL, teaching ESL to, teach effective ESL to ESL learners. So then what became so big was the pre-teaching vocabulary. For example, you will teach for the day, let's say you have a story to teach. You just don't go straight, read a story. You have to unlock the vocabulary words. You have, as a teacher, you have to read a story first and then choose the words that you believe they don't understand.
Yeah.
Unlock that, take it out, and then put it on a flashcard and then ask them, pronounce it to them, ask them to read it 3 times, because they said, I remember one principal told me, if they say it 3 times, they own the word. On top of them knowing what the definition of the word is. So then, so we did that. They pronounce the words. They get to know the definition of the words. And when we start reading the story, then they will see, oh, this was the word that was unlocked earlier.
Right.
Rather than, because some teachers, they do that. They just read the story, and then once they come across a word that's difficult, they go like, is there anybody who knows the meaning of this? That's extra time wasted, right? So instead of doing that, you take it out, and you're not even sure. Maybe only 1 person or 2 persons know.
Yeah, we call that in our college classes unlock vocabulary.
Unlock the words, right?
Yeah.
Because of that, the principal. So we went back to the school and we told the principal what we learned, and he said, that can be applied to the other subjects like math, science.
Yes, of course.
So we had to give them a copy of the step-by-step process on teaching vocabulary, and it was used in science. It's really true. It's not just reading the story without you understanding.
That's not reading. That's only mouthing the words. Yeah.
All right. So, Teacher Pearl, you taught in the Philippines elementary school for 19 years. That's That is already relatively a long time, and you, I believe, have already so far learned and the tricks and learned the different styles in teaching elementary school. So now when you move to New York from an elementary school assignment, what has or what have significantly changed in your life as a teacher?
I don't think something changed. I just moved on. I just
Mhm.
tried to enrich
Mhm.
other strategies that I learned from the Philippines, and then I enrich it here. I tried, because actually one of the principal even asked me, how can you apply what your teaching experience in the Philippines to the American kids? And I told her in my interview, all kids are the same.
Mhm.
They may be coming from different countries, but they also have individual differences. So however I see them, then I'm gonna see whatever needs whatever they need and their own individual needs. So I don't think there was a change. Actually, I myself developed and enriched whatever strategies I had used in the Philippines.
Great, very nice.
Yeah,
Very, that's a great insight, because it should not actually change you in a way that you would consider one group is better than the other, but you're looking at all of them in the same way, and you are there because you need to bloom in a way that they will still be receiving the same teaching, the same knowledge, whether you're in the Philippines or now you're in the United States. Thank you very much, teacher, for a very nice insight.
Oh, all right. Now, so my question now is about the ESL program in New York City or in the United States. Now, you start with students who have zero English, and then so you teach them, they progress, etc., etc. My question is now, can you please give our audience a picture of the program? You mentioned assessment. So say September, school opening, they're there and you teach. Now, when does assessment take place? And for how? So you have, for example, this group A now, first year nila sa inyo, no? Sa iyo. How many years do you have those same children or students? And how often do you assess them? And when are they qualified to go on to
the next level?
Another level, yeah.
In September, as soon as they come, they're being tested by the ESL coordinator. So there's a standard ESL test.
A pre-test.
That they have to hopefully pass. If they don't pass, they're definitely in the beginner's class.
The zero, okay, zero.
They pass a little, maybe not necessarily pass, but they still are within a range that they should belong to the ESL. They could be in the intermediate level. So you have the beginner's level, you have the intermediate level, and then if they are better, then they go to the advanced level, where we expect hopefully most of them will go to the mainstream classes. So assessment is done twice a year.
Twice a year. So
by the ESL coordinator.
Okay, middle of the year and then at the end of the school year.
Yes.
Now, yeah. So how would you describe a student who is ready to be mainstreamed?
When they pass unfortunately, they have to pass the state language art test.
What does it look like? Can you please tell us?
The standardized test that we have that's being given to the regular classes, that's exactly what they take.
What? The reading test, for example?
Yes.
For example, the third grade reading test is given to this student who did not speak English before. Oh, wow.
When I started ESL, the students who only took the standardized test were those who were here, I think 2 years or 3 years. When I left, They even had planned to ask the kids who had been here only 1 year to take the test, which is unfair. You don't expect kids to speak English, not even read complete English,
Exactly.
take this standardized test. They have to take the math standardized test. Remember the Common Core? All of them. Says, how in the world will they be able to understand that? They have to take the language art, the ELA test, the standardized test.
Yeah, right.
Actually, I think the special ed kids take the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, I remember now. No, like you said, it's a little unfair, because they started with zero knowledge of English, and then they're going to read English stories and answer questions about the stories.
They might be expecting that towards the end they already know how to speak the language, but that's impossible.
Fair. Yeah. So, about how many years? How many years does a student with who started with zero English progress and become and is accepted to the next grade level? About how many years on the average?
No, they still pass. They still pass the regular subjects like science, math, social studies. So they pass that. They go to the next level. However, they have to take the ELA state test.
Yeah.
So if they fail that, they go to summer school.
Yes.
Okay, the poor ESL kids are taking summer school because they the ELA test. But however, since they passed that, they can go to 7th grade, let's say from 6th grade to 7th grade, but they're still in the beginner's level. They're still in the beginner's level. They may not be zero English, but there's English. Yeah, it's much better than zero English.
Right.
So they're moving up depending upon their language proficiency.
Now,
the diagnostic test as well coming from
now,
coordinator.
okay, one last question about this program. So they pass. Is there, how do you call this? Their okay, this is the regular class and this is the ESL class. Do they have to meet the same amount of, say, score, the same kind of score in order to be at the 1 level, the 2 level, the 3 level, and the 4 level compared with the regular ed students?
There's a range of scores for them to pass.
Right. Oh, I see.
It's a range of scores, yes.
Different from the regular education students.
Well, when the test is given, well, the English coordinator, the ESL coordinator would have a list of students and what language proficiency they are in, plus the scores they got from the ELA test.
The standard test.
But I'm not sure, because when I left, that was the problem. We were having a problem of kids who had been here only 1 or 2 years in the country were taking the standardized test, which we felt unfair. That shouldn't be the case. However, I believe now it's not even called ESL, they're calling it ENL, English as a new language. I'm not there anymore, so.
Yeah, that's another term they have come up with.
I believe it's the same thing. It's the same
thing. A different name.
Yeah. So they still are, even the 8th grade, I had 8th grade students who were still in the beginner's level. But you can see that they're slowly progressing, but very slow. That's why it's our joy as ESL teachers to see when they pass, even at least a borderline, when they pass, to go to the mainstream classes.
Of course, I understand. We're happy when they are,
Yeah, and actually, even though let's say they're graduated, but they go to high school, they're still labeled ESL. Same thing as special ed, unless they pass the test.
When do they graduate from ESL? When do they graduate?
They pass the test. By the way, there's an ESL test.
It's always the test. Okay.
Yeah, there's an ESL standardized test, which are four kinds: the reading, the listening, the reading, the writing. Yes. What's the other one?
Speaking.
And speaking.
Speaking.
So the ESL students have to take four
tests.
tests. I remember when I took also the test in order to go to the public to the public school. I had to take four tests from the board of or the Department of Education.
Yeah, for the license.
Yeah, take the license. They're doing the same thing with the kids. I'm telling you, it's just all tests.
Thank you. Very interesting.
I know, right?
Yep, I agree. Teacher Pearl is all about state tests. It's all about assessments and the test. That's why there are moments when teachers would have the tendency that to teach to the test.
Correct, correct.
And,
That's so bad.
and through the years, they are, I mean, the names for these kind of students are changing. So originally it was ESL, and then it switched to ENL, and now they are called MLL.
What does that mean?
Multi-language learners.
Oh gosh.
Language learners?
So the change in the name would basically refer to the same group of students.
Is it, how do you call it? MLL?
MLL.
Multi-language
Learners.
But that's not a subject. Those are the kids.
Yeah, that's why that's the new label from ESL students. They refer them now to ENL,
Right.
and then now they're calling them MLL.
MLL.
Wow.
Oh my Lord.
Thai language, just to learn. That's their native language, and English is a second language supposedly. Now it's multi-language.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow!
And I guess it is because they want to accommodate the fact that these students are coming in from different languages or from from different countries with different
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's what they mean.
It's being politically correct, I think.
Yes, well,
But the bottom line is we are there. We are the teachers. We have to, find ways and means to teach them and look for their individual differences and individual
Right.
in order for us to understand, and because we have a big role in this society.
Of course.
There's a big role in this society and globally, actually.
Of course, yeah.
Yep, I agree, because regardless of the names that are changing, it all boils down to the teachers.
To the child, to the students. Correct.
Teacher Pearl, this is now our time to share our quotes, and we would like to share our quotes to our listeners.
Okay.
Siguro we'll start with Teacher Paset, if you are ready with your quote.
Oh, yes, I am. Oh, now, where is it now? Okay. All right. Okay, first of all, Pearl, I really would like to thank you for accepting our invitation for you to appear on the show, our discussions about ESL. Teacher Marvin, I think it's the first time that we had this long discussion about English as second language teaching.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was very rich and very informative, especially for me, who was not. Okay. Anyway, I would like to share this quote from Thomas Alva Edison. I love to, just share different small quotes that I hope will inspire our teachers and listeners.
Yes.
Okay. It's Thomas Alva Edison says, "Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always try just one more time." Sabi niya.
I love that.
So we keep trying hanggang matuto yung mga estudyante. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Sige, I will share my quote. It's always the same quote that I carry in my heart. Proper education is the education of the heart. And what better way to educate the heart than to embrace the heart of God? For when we have the heart of God, we have the love of God. And the love of God allows us to love even the unlovable among our students. And I guess with such we will be able to embrace everyone, the differences among our students, and still love them in the same way.
That's true. Thank
Salamat.
you. Yeah.
All right, Teacher Pearl.
Okay.
Our
This
coach.
is coming from Mahatma Gandhi.
Mhm.
Live as if you were to die tomorrow.
Oh.
Learn as if you were to live forever.
Uh-huh.
I can explain the first one. The first part, live as if you were to die tomorrow. For me, it means do the best of what you're doing at the moment. Whether you're cooking, gardening, babysitting, reading, at work or in school, don't do anything haphazardly.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Or if you're planning a project, do it. Do not procrastinate. Live as if today is your last day on earth. Don't wait for tomorrow because there might not be a tomorrow.
Correct.
And
Correct.
then learn as if you were to live forever. Learning should never stop. Open your minds to new ideas or concepts to expand your knowledge. Read, learn new skills, learn new things that will give you pleasure, not stress. Learning a new language is an example. The more you know, the more likely you will succeed or be fulfilled.
Wow.
It was nice. I thought I have
Very, very true.
Full
Yeah.
of wisdom, Teacher Pearl.
Uh-huh.
So how we wish we have more time for more of the insights that we can gain from Teacher Pearl. It's a different perspective than before because of the many ideas and the many learnings that we have gathered from her sharing with us, and it's another perspective put into our experience and our observations of all what's going on there in the educational world. Teacher Pacita, do you have your last word?
Okay. Again, let me go back to our teachers. Sabi nga nila, kapit lang. Yeah, it's hard work. It is very difficult work. It's a difficult job that you have, but you have to do it anyway for the sake of our students, our country, and the whole world. So teachers, mabuhay kayo. Thank you.
All right. Salamat, Teacher T. Teacher Pearl, do you have your last word for our listeners?
I just want to ask the teachers to continue whatever and however they're doing and give their best. Remember, the kids are the future of our country, of all the generations actually.
Right, right.
And also, we as teachers are supposed to be the role models to them. So we have to remember that as teachers. Thank you.
Thank you, Teacher Pearl. For me, I want to leave this thought to our teachers. When we teach, we actually teach the lives of our students. And we are there because of a very significant purpose, and we are in a very significant position to have that change in our students' life so that when they leave our classroom, they are a better person than when they used to be. Maraming salamat, Teacher Pearl. And thank you, PA.
Salamat din. Salamat.
So we hope to have more time later with Teacher Pearl. And thank you again, PHLV Radio. And maraming salamat sa ating mga teachers who are listening always to us. Thank you very much. And
God bless.